Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Zoronden and you are tuned in for some Starcraft 2. Now I had promised to do a pro tournament, or I keep saying tournament, I had promised to do a pro marathon this weekend of cold casting about 10 games. I did have to postpone that, but what I have done is casted 5 fan submitted games, so we're going to have an episode of Starcraft every day this week. So this is going to be that first game. This is on Shakura's Plateau. It is a lower level league match. I'm not quite sure what league. Unfortunately, didn't get that information. But it will be between Erik, the red Protoss, in the top left corner, and in the top right corner, the blue Terran Diabetiker. Don't know if that's a play on diabetic. I don't think so, but I don't know. Either way, let's get into this action and see how these two players are going to throw up head-to-head against each other. Hopefully they don't actually throw up. We don't want that. That would be a mess. This game is a little slower in the beginning, so I am going to go at a ×2 rate. But do not fret. Do not worry. We will not miss a moment of action. I will make sure and catch all of that for your viewing pleasure. These two probes pass each other there in the midfield. I'm just checking here. Last game I casted, my HUD would not lower for some reason. Just making sure that's working right now. And indeed, it is the case. That SCV is going to come in, ninja a few minerals, and go on home. I'm not going to worry about any harass or anything like that. However, Erik's is running around here getting chased by an SCV. That SCV decides not to work anymore because there is a Marine on the field. However, that Marine does miss where the probe goes, and he's going to get him here. That's the end of that probe's sad little story. He goes dead. And there's a fast expand for Erik. That is after his gateway and his cybernetics core, so a little different than normal, but quite acceptable, especially as this is lower league play. Double gas going down for Diabetiker. We're going to need to watch that, see how he reacts to that. I would expect a lot of Marauders and Marines, possibly the MMM ball, coming out of Diabetiker with that double gas going down already. Of course, both gas are down for Erik as well. We're obviously not seeing a 4-gate as he has a second Nexus up. So we should be seeing a lot of Colossus, maybe, and obviously these Stalkers that are sitting there right now. Of course, he could go Immortal play or something like that. However, if against a Terran in the lower league, you seem to see a lot of the Marine Marauder balls, so I would expect Colossus out of Erik. But we'll just have to watch and see. Time will tell, and actually there's a proxy pylon getting set up by Erik down here. We'll need to keep an eye on that as he could easily warp in some harassment squads. And he does indeed already have Warp Gate done. So that could cause some issues for Diabetiker. We'll just have to watch. There's a Marine coming over. He might end up scouting that out. And check that out. He indeed does. He's going to start shooting at it. Stalker warps in and is easily going to take that Marine out. Ooh. But that position is now known. And the Marine squad up here on the ramp kind of consolidates. They're trying to block off the ramp, I believe. Never seen anyone try and wall in with Marines. That's creative play there. We will have to see how that's going to work out for him, because that is a squishy wall. I would not want that to be my wall. There, he's going to throw the expansion down on the walling in barracks. And check out that production going on. 2 E-bays, 2 barracks. He's got a floating factory. He's got his starports. Looks like we're going to pop off this probe, or not probe, it's a pylon, and the Stalker. And there he easily kills that Stalker who was trying to survive, hoping he'd take out the pylon first. But Diabetiker knew what to do. He took out the Stalker first, but the probe did remain in this vicinity, and he has now dropped down a new proxy pylon. Unfortunately, he walked right into the Marines and got sauced. That's an unfortunate little loss that wasn't necessary. Could have had that probe sit up there a little longer. Probably would have been safe and survived. I'm going to go back to ×2 again as there's a little bit of a lull. Of course, we do have what looks like to be a drop coming in soon. His scan goes down, and I am going to go back to normal speed as it looks like we are going to have a nice little drop coming in. However, if he's not careful, those Stalkers could do some damage. He's going to drop them right there on the ledge. Unfortunately, a couple are on the low ground. He loses 4 Marines to the low ground. And the Colossus is doing its job, crispifying several Marines before Diabetiker is forced to retreat out of there. Fortunately for Diabetiker, he has a few backup Marines which he can throw right into the medevacs, and he got 2 full medevacs yet again. And Erik will need to be on the ball to catch this drop. And Diabetiker is going to need to be careful with that medevac, and he's going to repair it, I think. Or he's just going for the long loop around for that kind of drop. Looks like he's hoping to do a double drop. However, Erik spotted that one. I don't know if he's going to give pursuit or position any troops up here. We'll have to watch that. And here comes Diabetiker with the first drop. He's going to drop Marines right into the probe line. Going to start causing serious issues for the probes. Probes are running off the line. A few stalkers have warped in. Unfortunately, they're going to get eaten really easily. And those probes are all gone. Not dead, but they're retreated away. Now he's popping off pylons. However, this Colossus is doing some serious damage. The drop has started in the natural as the army funnels by into the main. Unfortunately, they do turn around. The Diabetiker's guys almost get picked off. He does indeed get away. Yes, indeed he does. And most of the Marines from the north attack survived as well. So a pretty effective attack by Diabetiker, considering he lost 3 Marines. I mean, very cost effective if you take out probes and only lose 1 Marine. Not really sure why he dropped a Marine there. It might have been a misclick of some sort. I do not know. Typically, another minor note that's good for players is throw a Marine here instead of an SCV. Send this SCV home to have yourself some more minerals or something like that. And, oh, supply drop. Oh, no. Don't supply drop. Don't supply drop, Diabetiker. If you ever see this, don't supply drop. And that SCV pays the price. Looks like Erik is wanting to take map control, pushing off Diabetiker off of these towers. Having a little bit of tag going on here by the Zealot and the Marine, and the Zealot ends up winning. And here comes an army by Diabetiker. He does indeed have Vikings on the field now to attempt to deal with those Colossi, as well as a very nice Marine and Marauder and Medevac ball. So here comes the Death Ball. We'll have to see how Erik counters that. His mass army is sitting as natural. He could easily lose his 3rd if Diabetiker does this procedure correctly. However, there isn't much going on at the 3rd yet, so it's not going to be a huge loss. And here comes Erik attempting to defend that. Is he going to get here in time? No, he is not. That 3rd goes down. The armies do engage here. The Vikings cleverly positioned on the high ground were sniping the Colossi. They pulled back for a second there, and they are just taking out those Colossi really quick. However, they did step up there to get some high ground vision for a second. Oh, and the Vikings go out of their safety area, and that is not good for the Vikings. Both armies have pulled back. However, Erik is probably more confident with his positioning. We'll have to see. Looks like he's going to sit comfortable and reestablish his 3rd for the moment. Or he's going to move out right when I say he isn't going to move out. That is typical. And there he does use the Colossi to get high ground vision and take out that Viking. Here comes Erik pushing into the line, wanting to end this game. He is really trying to press his luck here. These are fairly close armies. However, that Colossi is definitely going to help, as it is going to do mass damage to the bio, but it gets sniped off, and that is no good for Erik. He wants that unit. However, the Marines and Marauders are so limited at this point. It is going to be hard to pull off a victory for Diabetiker at this time. He's going to need to attempt to regroup, but he does not. He is unable to do such, and he does call the GG. Well played by Erik. He is the fan that sent me this game. I want to thank him for that. And well played. Your Colossus versus the Bio Ball. Very effective. Good job. And of course, Diabetiker, if you do see this, do not supply drop. Ugh! Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I am Zoronden. If you liked this, please do subscribe. Thumbs up helps me out. I'm a small channel, small caster, trying to grow. And I'll catch all of you on the other side.